Okay, it is Cindy Fodor here with Stamp the Love, and it is Make It Monday, and I have the projects for you from class this month, and I have a mess on my table, but the first one that I'm going to start with is this one, and let me just tell you a little bit about this before we make it. So this one came from several different ideas. But this is a die set called Garden. I think it's called Garden Dies, Gorgeous Garden Dies. And it's these two stamps. And I think that I showed you a card with this one before. And I wanted to play with this one, and it makes such a beautiful background. I'm also using for this card the Sentimental Park bundle. The saying and a lot of the dies, a lot of the flower dies will come from there. This is the size piece that I cut the layout inside for. I am using Bubble Bath as my base color, or my base card. And I took a quarter sheet and I die cut, I think it's the largest of the stitched circles out of that. So we won't need that circle. Well, we won't need that circle. We'll use that for something else later. So inside of here, I have a piece ready to go. But what I'm planning to do, get this turned the right way, I'm going to put some pop-ups around here. And I'm going to use our, let's see what these are called so I can say the right thing, foam adhesive strips. So I'm going to put some of those around the card so that it all stands up nice and tall, and use some of these scrap pieces. I think what I might do is just lay this on here so I get an idea where I want this, where I need the adhesives to be. We'll put some here. And I want a full strip here across the top. And let's go ahead and I'm going to pull out this because it's nice if you have little pieces to just stick them on there so they won't get lost or messed up. I'm going to go ahead. I have dimensionals on the back of this, so this is upside down. And I just want to put some adhesive around the edge here and go ahead and tack that edge down so that it doesn't move, and then I can see exactly where I want to put these pieces. We can always come back and put more on later if we need to. All right. Tack that down. You can see there's a piece missing right here, and I kept that little piece because it wasn't attached to anything. So when I die cut it, the edge came off. You saw the big die that I showed you, and then the little square pieces of paper that I used sometimes will cause part of it to not be attached. So I kept that to stick on there so that it would still have a spot. Let's see. We got adhesive here. We want to get some adhesive along the edge here, and I sort of would like it to go directly on my purple posy, or not my purple posy. That was an old color that never happened, the Bubble Bath paper. So I'm just going to trim a little bit of these edge pieces here. Well, I don't want that one. I want the one that's sticking down already. Got some glue on that. Okay. This one I see is not sticking, so we're gonna, oh, it has a little glue there. It's just not set yet. All right, so now I can take another strip and just put it right along there. Might as well peel this off as we go because we got to peel all of those off. At least it's not like peeling 100 dimensionals, right? At least these longer pieces don't take quite as long to peel. And one more for over here. Okay. All right, now I believe we're ready to place this down on our card. We have everything in place. Just got to make sure we get it in the right spot right away, because you don't get a second chance to lay this down. Boom, there we go. And I've already put those little dimensionals in there because I want that to stand up as well. It gives it just an amazing look when you look at it from the front and the side. You can see a little bit there. Okay, so now we can get rid of that. And we're going to just throw a couple flowers on here. I have a larger pink flower. I'm keeping this all monochromatic. And then I have two smaller ones that I want to pop on the leaves here. And then I have a saying. I told you this came from that same stamp set. The yeah. Now I can't think of it. Sentimental Park. And I'm going to put dimensionals on this as well. I know that's double popping, and I don't typically do that, but it's the only really other focal point on this card, so I feel like it needs a little something. And so we're going to pop that up. And we'll just put that right there. Hopefully that's straight. And then I felt like this area needed a little something, so I took, there was a long, this is a real long die, and we're just using the top part of that die just to get a little bit of a stem so that we can put our flower on, and I think I'm going to cut part of that off. And then here's the little flower. And you could pop that up too if you wanted to, but I think we're going to add some iridescent pearls, and that's going to be all that it needs. These scissors are just a tad dull. I need to get them sharp. Well, partly they have goo on them, so I think that's part of my problem. I need to get them cleaned with some alcohol. All right, so there we go. And the pearls do like the major trick, because it will be just what the doctor ordered. So we're going to put a pearl there. We're going to put one on each of the each of the flowers. That's not quite glued down yet. We'll just give that a little press while we're doing it. Okay, look at that. Isn't that cool? That's just what it needed. I feel like I turned this lighting down because everything seemed washed out, but now I feel like you can hardly see it. Some days I cannot get the perfect color, but anyways, this is a really pretty pinkish. It's a slight hint of maybe purple in this pink, but not so much as, like, if you laid it next to Fresh Freezy, you'd be like, oh no, that's pink. But yeah, it's a little hard. The color's not showing up real perfectly on screen. But anyways, so I hope you like that. I did emboss this already with the white powder, if you're wondering how I got that. All right, I have one more. Well, we have 3 more to do. So let me get to the next one. And I forgot to show you, these are 2 other cards. I think this one I showed already on a video, using the other die from those garden dies. And I just wanted to show you what that looked like completed. Okay. All right, so now we're ready for this card. And this one is, we're gonna do some sponging on this with our sponge brushes. The stamp set is called Gorgeously Made. It's a bundle. And I just think I think the colors are beautiful together, and I hope that you enjoy this one as much as I did making it. So let me just get this folded. Let's see. I'm going to try to pull out this piece. I tried to keep these all together because I actually wanted the insides to stay on this plant, in the leaves, and most of them did, but a few of them did not. So this one has one that I need to put back in. Oops. So I'm just carefully taking that out. This is going to be my background, so we're not wasting paper. So we took that, whoops, we did our die cut right out of that piece. Great way to save your cardstock. So that's my tip for the day, especially when you're using expensive papers like foils and things like that. It really is a great way to use that. I'm going to put this aside for a second. We're going to work on this piece. Let's grab our scrap paper, which I'm not sure where I put. So we'll grab this one. This is one of our masks that's in the annual catalog right now. And, you know, I think what I did typically, and I might set this up for my class, I need some washi tape to hold that in place. So this is how I wanted to set it up. I just stuck my paper under here, and I just washi taped this. I laminated one of the papers for here, and I just taped the washi tape to that. So we're going to use our pretty peacock, and I just got glue dots all over that. That was lovely. That's what happens when you don't put your glue dots away. Do as I say, not as I do, right? So I'm just going to, I don't want this really dark, so I just want to get my scrap paper here a little bit. Whoa, that's really dark. Okay, we'll start here. It's definitely darker than I want it to be, but obviously this ink pad is very juicy because I barely touched it to the, hate to waste ink, but we also don't want, whoops, that just moved on me. I figured if I can keep my mask from moving, my paper will be fine, but I just moved the whole thing, so. And I could get the magnets out for this and help keep them in place. If you have a Stamparatus, there's so many uses for it. I'm very sad if you don't. If anybody's, I know there's some price gouging going on for people who find that there's a market for these, just like that company from China that keeps selling things for really cheap, but they're making them cheap so that they can sell them to you cheap. But these are Stampin' Up! Ones that people are selling and gouging the prices. Okay, there we go. That's a little darker than I wanted it to be, but you get the idea. Okay, so now we just want to do a little bit of stamping for the background of the card, and we're going to use, our colors are Berry Burst and Pretty Peacock. So we're going to stamp this guy in Berry Burst, and I don't want it to come the whole way down here, so I'm only inking part of it. Stamp that there. I love grunge stamping, and this is like words, but they're not all there. Sort of like me some days, I'm not all there. Okay, oh, that's very inky, I'm telling you, that stamp. And I wanted this a little lighter so that this stood out a little bit more, but I'll put that here and one more down here. Okay, Now we're ready to start layering. We have everything stamped. I already have the greeting embossed, so that's ready to go. And let's go ahead and put this guy on. I do want to pop that piece out and this big piece here, if I can get it. And I'm going to put my green glue on because, like I said, I want that inside to stay. So I want to make sure I'm gluing that as well as the outline, because if it falls loose at some point, it's going to go flying. So I'm gluing over both of those. I'm not sure if you're able to see what I'm talking about, but typically it would be the shad that you would take out of the center, but I don't want them out, so I'm not ready to put that on yet. I forgot to put my other pieces. Let's do those first. I have a piece of vellum cut with those diagonal, I don't know what they're called. I have this piece cut with the bookmark from this set, and I actually used both sides because both sides are cool. So this is going to go down first, and I hope that's straight. Whoops. And then I need this piece. This is from our, let me think what it's called now. Let's say botanical something. Anyways, it's just a strip from that, just a little piece to set off the background. And then we're ready for the vellum. Now I don't want to really glue that down because you know how vellum is, it shows where you glue it. So I'm going to put my greeting there, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that part down, and that's where my greeting will have to go. And then I'm going to put, see if I can get that to stay where it should. I'm going to go ahead and stick this over top. And then I will just do a little lift here and put some glue where that's showing. Actually, that's going to hold it down okay. All right, so we're missing this little piece right here, which I had a few seconds ago. And there it is. Okay, so we're just going to put a little bit of glue right in there, in the hole. We're going to take the sticky putty from our stamp, take your pick tool, and I'm just going to grab the right side of that and tuck that right in the hole. There you go. All right, now we have all those little holes filled in. I just want to make sure they all stick down. And that's sticking good. We need this. This is our thank you. And we will put some dimensionals on that. It's very tiny. So it's good we have tiny dimensionals, right? The minis. All right, we'll just cover that glue. Boom, bang. I need my little bow. I'm going to make that with linen thread. And we are almost finished with this card. This card would be pretty with a little bit of bling. So I might grab that. Now, where's those glue dots I just threw away, right? Grab one here. I'm just going to roll it up a little bit so that it's not showing behind too much. And actually, we're going to tuck it a little bit here so that you won't even see that glue dot. And give me 1 second. I'm going to grab the bling. Okay, this is the one that I wanted. Adhesive Back Sequins Trio, because they are the perfect match for the colors we're using. Let me go ahead and put this on the card. Then I got so excited about bling. Got ahead of myself. All right, we have that base here somewhere. Here we go. Isn't that so pretty? I love it. Okay. Just, I'm not happy that the background is so dark. That's the only thing. But you'll have this. So I think I'm going to use the green ones. Oops. I'm going to stick on there. And I just flung that one. Let's see if that one's still sticky. Might as well put them in the center of those. And maybe one more. Where are we going to put him? Here? Here, here, here. There. Yeah, that's cute. I like it. It needed a little something shiny. Okay, so that's it for that one. That's 2 down, 2 to go. The next card is this beautiful leaf card for fall. Again, we're using Pretty Peacock. This time we're using Pecan Pie as our background. And we're using some of our new gorgeous papers, our autumn paper, All About Autumn, and then our foiled papers. We're using some new bling here, and I want to show you a fun technique. But this is the stamp set and the bundle that we're using. I'll show you how these leaves work together in a second. First, let me show you this technique. So I'm going to grab I've embossed this with our, it's another background that's sort of grungy, okay, that has blank spots to make it look old. So I thought that would be a perfect one to use for this technique. And I'm just taking one of our old sponges because I don't want a lot of ink. And I'm just going to just lightly brush it in certain areas. I just want to touch where the design is sticking up. Okay, so I don't want a lot of ink on there. That's probably more than I needed. And I seriously barely press down. We can always go back over and add more if we need to. It's better to put less. Less is definitely more. We're using copper embossing powder. Make sure that's all covered. Let's get our heat tool out and heat that, and we'll see what we have. I don't know if you can see it changing. Okay, I think that looks good. You see how it just brought that pattern out? You can see the design. Anyways, okay, so that is our background. Let's go ahead and I'm going to just tuck my ribbon around here. We're going to glue this down to our card so that it's nice and flat, because the heat does tend to lift it a little bit. And I'm using this gorgeous copper ribbon. It comes with a natural ribbon and copper. And last week I showed you a trick where you can take and slice it down the middle and do a fun weave with our wavy trim ribbon. So make sure you didn't miss that video. I'm trying to get this scooted over a little bit so I have more on this side. Now I think it's probably going to be uneven. Of course it is. Scoot that up a little bit. There we go. Now I usually put some adhesive on the back of the ribbon because I want it double glued. And let's see if we can get adhesive on here without pulling up our design. I'm being very gentle and strategic here so that I don't lift up the fibers of paper that are embossed. When we break those fibers, it makes them a little bit too pliable, and our adhesive is so sticky it just lifts it right up. I ran off the edge there, so let's tuck that under. Okay, so I have this cut as a 4 1/4 by 11 piece in half at 5 1/2, and so we're going to put that right there. It looks like I folded it crooked, or scored it crooked. I scored them before I cut them. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. I'm going to stamp this on our cute tag. Oh, and I stuck these pieces down. This is the All About Autumn paper that I just cut in, I think 1 1/4 inch squares, because I wanted to see so many of them. They're so beautiful, and I couldn't decide like how to use it so that we could see more. So that's what I did, just in order to see more of that. And then I'm going to put 4 dimensionals on, because when I tell you what, when I use ribbon, I like to try to stay on either side of the ribbon so that the dimensionals, so that the tag doesn't wobble back and forth. This one wobbles a little bit, so we'll see if I can not make that happen this time. And before I stick that down, I have these 2 pretty leaves. These are 2 papers that come together. They're like rustic something, I can't remember. They're in the holiday catalog. And I'm going to put the one here because I want to make sure it gets tucked under the tag a little bit. There we go. And then this one, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right at the top, because it's going to just hang over the tag a little bit so that it shows nicely. If I can get it to stick there. And I could stick a dimensional underneath it. I guess that would probably be a good thing if I can get it off my finger. That's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to do it this way. I have it showing just a little bit there. Needs a little bit of a trim with my doll scissors. Let me just lift it up and do it. It's not sticking anyways, right? Okay, there we go. Try that again. Let's put it back in the glue and stick that down. Okay, that was smarter, Cindy. All right, so we have one more thing. We have bling. We have 2 more things. We have bling, if I can find it. This is in the holiday catalog, adhesive back speckled dots. They're sort of muted, warm colors, but they have little speckles of, they're different colors. Like this one has almost like a green glitter in it. This one has like a burgundy glitter, and so on. They each have some different types of shiny in them. And so we're just going to use an assortment of these because we have all of these colors in our papers. So we'll just go ahead and use one of each color. Let's put this up here next to the old olive. Oops, I think I missed him. And let's see, let's do a large one of the, if I can get it, pecan pie. Okay, so there we go. That is finished, and hopefully you enjoyed that one. A few little tips there about embossing, and just some ideas to use things a little differently. The inside, I wanted to do the inside because it's a little dark, and plus I wanted to play with the leaves in this set. So I'm going to use my pecan pie, and I'm going to grab my mat here just because we're using photopolymer and the surface isn't great. So I'm going to stamp that off, and I'm going to stamp that on here. So you can see it gives you actually a 2-tone stamp. It's really cool. And then when I take this full strength, I can put this right on the inside, and look at that. Isn't that cool? Now, I ended up with these little strips as I was cutting that paper, and I thought, we can use that on the inside of our card. So we'll just put a little glue on here and just run that down the edge. I'm not sure if I have, yeah, this one's long enough to put the whole length. And then we can go ahead. I'm just going to put a little adhesive right under there so it doesn't show. And then we'll just center that inside of our card. And there you go. Beautiful. All right, that's it for that one. We have one to go. Okay, this is our fourth and final card for class this month. And I decided to make it a card for dads or for men, a masculine card. I did use the saying from here, so glad you're my dad, and I figured that I could use this for my dad's birthday card. I'm going to put happy birthday inside. And yeah, so I used Gone Fishing. I don't have my die packet here, but my dies are inside of here because a friend borrowed these. But anyways, I wanted to use the little fishing tackle box and as many of the stamps and dies as I could because it's such a cool set. So we're going to make this card by, I have everything set up on my Stamparatus. And I'm going to put all of my little pieces in their spot. So how I did this, just in case you've not seen me show this before, is I took my stamps and I laid them on here. I closed the lid to pick them up. I inked them all and stamped them. Then I took this piece, letting the stamps where they were, took this piece and die cut them carefully so that they were perfectly die cut out. And then when I brought this piece back, I had not only my die cut pieces, but I had this negative so that now I can put these pieces all back in and they're going to stamp in the same spot. Another tip for your day. Okay, so if you have a Stamparatus and you haven't pulled it out lately, trust me, you are missing a lot of time saving because it's way easier to cut these ahead and then pop them in here and stamp them. We're stamping these all in pebbled paths. That's our piece that goes around here, and this is the designer paper here is from the fishing paper. And I think that is going to get in the way, but we'll see here. See if they got stamped good. That looks great. Let me close this because we're finished with that color. And we'll pop our pieces out here. Ooh, they did not stamp perfectly, so I have to look and see if looks like I might have moved that a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and use these for the sake of this card. But a good way to test it is to just put a blank piece of paper in here. Let's do that quick, and because I need to make sure for class that this is all lined up. And like I said, I did loan this out, so it's possible that somebody took the stamps off and moved them, but we want to make sure. Yeah. This one's definitely off. So I'm going to just peel this one off and try to put it in place here. Just the top is off a little bit. So if I line the rest of it up and just move the top over, I think the other ones are all good. So let's close this back down and get that in place. Just going to check that real quick. Sorry to do this on live video, but sometimes you have mistakes, right? Okay, that looks better. I think we're good for that. And now we'll take that out and we've got this ready to roll. Okay. Now we're going to take all of those cute little pieces and we're going to stamp them. I'm going to put them on my mat here. You know, that fish was off, but it didn't look like it was off when I stamped it, but I'll check it again. Okay, I do need my scrap paper back because I'm using boho blue, but I want to stamp it off because it's too dark to stamp full strength. I just want the fish to have a little bit of color. And then for this little lure, we're going to stamp that in Mossy Meadow. Let me find the piece for that. And I think I'll stamp that full strength and see if that's good. I can't remember what I did. That's pretty dark, but I think it'll lighten a little bit. Then we've got our bobber. We're going to do that in Cajun Craze. Check out how this transforms this bobber. Isn't that cool? Oh, now it looks like a bobber, right? And then I know that this is a lead, whatever it's called. Devin would be horrified that I don't know this. It's a, I know it pulls the lure down to the bottom. Anyways, but it's going to be yellow, okay? Because I needed a yellow on this card to brighten it up. So it's not realistic, I get it, but okay, so let's just make a little space here so we can put our card together. Let me get rid of these quick so that we don't stick our fingers in them. I just need the Mossy Meadow quick to stamp my tag, and let me do that. There we go. Now we're done with that one. Okay, so here's the rest of our pieces. I didn't close this one. All right, so let me fold this. And I know my fingernails work good for that, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece down because it's going to be easier than trying to glue it to the back of that piece. So we'll get this down and then we'll glue that to it. How's that sound? We'll just center it here because we know what we want that piece centered. And not quite centered, but I think it'll work. And then this, we're just going to get a little bit of green glue in here. If you have your fine tip bottle, then you can use that for this. Less is more, don't forget, because this will squish out and then you'll have glue everywhere. You can see I am not going heavy with this. Some of you get very, very heavy-handed, and you're basically wasting your glue, plus you're really chancing that you're going to have a mess on your card, and it's easy to mess up anyway. So all right, this is going to go this way. Oops, my paper's a little bit long there. I'll have to remember to trim that first. Okay, so we're going to pop a few things up here real quick, and we are like going to be done with this card in a jiff. Oh no, we're not, because there's one more thing I want to do. It's going to be your choice if you like to do this, but I did take my old 1/16 inch punch, and I didn't do the fish, but I did the bobber, the weight, sinker, that's what it's called. Yay, I'm so happy I remembered it. And the lure. And we're just gonna, so what I did, it's really, really hard to thread this cord through that tiny hole, but I really didn't want a bigger hole. So I took, let me think here, I took this. This is a needle threader. This is what I said I should have had earlier. And you just stick your stuff through there. Then you pull that back through your hole, and the thread comes with it. Now I think while I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and pop these in place because it's going to be easier to thread the next one if this one's staying where it's supposed to. So this one, we're going to take it down through. So we're going to stick that through there, pull that down through. So much easier than sitting and fiddling and trying to get thread to go through the hole. I don't usually have them on hand, but I just bought these recently, and it sure is a time saver. Okay, now this one we're going to come up through here. So we'll stick that through there, put our twine through that larger hole, boom. All right, so let's throw a dimensional on this one, and quickly we are finished. This one goes this way. All right, and then I do want a knot in this end, so I'm just going to tie that. And we'll do a little trim. And then I want this to like be loose here, so like I said, you can take it or leave it. I would have liked to have some green instead of blue, but blue was the, well, maybe it wasn't the only one I had. I don't know. Okay, so there we go. That is it, guys. Not too hard. It's easy when you have everything die cut for you and already cut to put together, right? All right, thanks for joining me. I hope that I hope you have a great week. And just know that these 4 projects are free with a $40 online purchase, or of course they're free when you come to my class and do the class when you place an order. So anyways, you'll be watching this after classes are over for the month. So your option would be to place an order and get the packet of projects in the mail.